Today is Tuesday, July 2nd, and this is another update on my progress beating the S&P 500 along with Bill Ackman's Pershing Square holdings. I do make these videos every Tuesday and Sunday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. I decided not to make any position changes to my portfolio. I increased my Nvidia position on my last update, but before that, it had been a couple of weeks since I made any changes at all, and I think that's what's going to end up happening over the next couple of weeks. On my last update, the SPY price was just below the 5-day, and as you can see here, it's actually crossed back above that. I'm just above 95% invested, and as long as the price remains above the 5-day and the 15, then I have absolutely no reason to sell out of any of my positions. Right now, we're a quarter percentage point away from reaching all-time highs. That all-time high was set on June 18th. Then over the next few weeks, we dipped down and traded sideways. So at this point, it's definitely looking like it's going to try to make new all-time highs. Right now, it's a 7.42% gain to reach where I think the S&P 500 is going to finish out the year. As long as the inflation data keeps showing signs of progress, I definitely think that there's a good chance of this actually happening. These are all my current positions. Right now, Nvidia, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and C3 AI make out my top 5, and those account for 54.77% of my portfolio. Nvidia is still my biggest winner at a 25.52% gain, but over the last couple of days, Apple's made some progress, and right now it's at a 17.06% gain. Like I mentioned earlier, I have 95.67% of my portfolio invested, which means I have 4.33% sitting in cash. The plan is to have the S&P 500 reach all-time highs, and then ideally over the next week or two, it would see even more gains. At that point, I would start to think about trimming some of my positions, so that way I would be able to lock in some gains, and then raise a little bit of cash if the market took a downturn. Since Monday, my portfolio saw an increase of 0.96%. Pershing Square had an increase of 0.42, and the S&P 500 saw a gain of 0.92, which brings us year to date. My portfolio currently has a gain of 20.74. Pershing Square is at a gain of 17.09, and the S&P 500 on the year has a gain of 16.15. That's all I got for today. I do make these videos every Tuesday and Sunday, so if you want to follow along, hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you on Sunday.